Meghan. I mean, it's the bottom. I mean, just when you think she cannot go lower, she outdoes herself. As I've always said, Meghan's the best at being the worst.
And then we come to the most mad part. The paparazzi are tracking them down. They are on their tail. Oh, yes, they were there. They were there. But there just happened to be no pictures whatsoever. So what happened instead? Meghan posted these. Prince William exploded, and can you blame him? Absolutely not.
Meghan Markle wanted the world to see a peaceful family summer. Instead, one carefully edited Instagram carousel may have exposed the entire publicity machine behind the Sussex brand. Because the biggest mystery is not what appeared in Meghan's photographs. It is what never appeared anywhere else. We were told photographers were watching Harry and Meghan during their European travels.
Wants to take photographs all of the time of them, but they have to turn around. I can't imagine what that does psychologically to a child growing up, going, oh, I want you to go play. I want you to chase your sister. I want you to go have your birthday dinner at Disney Resort, but you're not allowed to turn around. You're not allowed, go hug daddy, but make sure you turn your head.
Reports suggested the Sussex team knew paparazzi were close and managed to avoid them. The implication was familiar. Even a quiet family break could not escape unwanted attention. But where is the evidence? No airport ambush, no grainy beach photograph, no distant restaurant shot, no chaotic video of security moving the family away, nothing.
So what are they trying to achieve here? Can I give you my theory, Tash? They
Go
have
on.
to keep pretending that they're a couple in demand, that there is a bounty on their head, that the paparazzi really do want them. So while they're briefing about this family holiday, the message, Tash, to the paparazzi, and by the way, to the who they claim are after them too, is hunt us down in Portugal. We need you to hunt us down, because unless you hunt us down, all of our argument about permanent British government paid security collapses.
The only meaningful visual record of this supposedly watched holiday came from Meghan herself. She delivered the beaches, the pool, the restaurant, the laughter, the family walk, the carefully hidden faces, and eventually the most emotionally powerful image of all, Harry and the young family members carrying flowers at Althorpe, where Princess Diana is buried.
Yes, as the dad and the kids are all told to face one direction as Meghan gives herself a wedgie with her black swimsuit on the beach. I mean, I really do not understand why these pictures were released, but then we get a press release to accompany them to say, this just looks like normal family fun.
That changes the entire story. This was not a holiday accidentally exposed by outsiders. It became a holiday revealed, framed, and distributed by Meghan on her own terms. Then, after the polished images were already public, the paparazzi explanation appeared, and critics immediately asked whether that story was describing a real intrusion or repairing a problem created by Meghan's own post.
For a security-conscious couple, Meghan even posted a local restaurant, which is apparently located near where it was rumoured that they purchased a property.
Here's my house. Here's my house. Come and visit.
Exactly this.
Before we continue, I want to mention something really quick. Organizing your family's important information is one of those things most of us know we should do, but we keep putting it off. That's exactly why there's the Family Vault. It gives you one place to organize your important documents, insurance, medical information, passwords, and more, so everything is easy to find when it's needed. You'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. That's all. Now, let's get back to today's story. The summer holiday carousel was clearly designed to communicate something. It showed a relaxed couple, a warm family, European freedom, and rare glimpses of Archie and Lili without fully revealing their faces. Supporters saw an affectionate collection of private memories. Critics saw a professionally controlled campaign dressed up as spontaneity.
This is so nuts. Like, how thick do they think we are? Firstly, why are you briefing about your personal holiday while then claiming your personal holiday is private? You don't see King Charles and Camilla do that. You don't see William and Catherine do that. If they are on a private family holiday, it remains a private family holiday. And as a result, there are no paparazzi pictures. Secondly, how twisted is it to announce to the world, oh no, the paparazzi were there, Tash?
Every image looked casual enough to feel intimate, yet deliberate enough to generate headlines. The family walks away from the lens. The younger figures face the water. Harry stands in the right position. Meghan controls the distance. Nobody appears surprised by the camera. Nobody ruins the composition. And nearly every photograph protects identity while still selling emotion.
They were there.
Yeah.
They were after us, okay? They wanted us. They tracked us down. Promise. Security really is an issue. Oh, but there just happened to be no pictures. Well, Tash, I usually know how this game works. If the paparazzi do capture pictures, they are published because that's how it works. They're not necessarily published in the mainstream British media or even the mainstream American media, but they find their way into a magazine in
Europe.
France or Australia or
yeah.
Europe. Exactly.
That is the real distinction at the center of this controversy. Privacy and control are not the same thing. A genuinely private memory remains inside a phone or a family album. A controlled public memory is chosen, cropped, captioned, timed, and offered to millions. Hiding a face may reduce exposure, but the moment still becomes content. The clothing, setting, body language, relationships, and emotional meaning remain available for public consumption.
Clearly, it's not normal family time in Montecito. But
weren't
again,
normal
that backs
family-
our reporting, Tash, because they are not
Yeah.
raised really by Harry and Meghan, are they? They're raised by the army of nannies.
That's why the photos are so bizarre, Dan. They're not families having fun. I mean, the photographs we get of the Wales children lying in the grass with their parents, they're all genuinely laughing and giggling or jumping over sand dunes.
Critics are not blaming Archie or Lili. They did not choose the post, the angle, or the headlines. The criticism is aimed at the adults who decide when a family moment becomes useful to a public narrative. One royal commentator compared the presentation to a strange performance, arguing that the images felt less like accidental snapshots and more like scenes arranged to create a very specific impression. Perhaps nobody gave directions. None of us witnessed these moments, but the consistency invites questions. Keep walking. Look toward the sea. Hold the flowers. Stand beside Dad. Do not turn toward the phone.
She was like, oh crap, I've just proved that we can move around Portugal. We can take the kids out to the
Uh-huh.
beach. Harry and I can go around. And Harry's desperately still scraping, trying to get the security back. He's apparently still lobbying the Home Secretary. And I'm sure our latest Prime Minister, no doubt, will have a letter soon from Harry himself.
Again, that is only an interpretation, not proof of staging. Yet when every selected frame delivers the same polished message, viewers naturally examine how that result was produced. The message was obvious. We are normal. We are happy. We protect our family. We still have royal access. We are connected to Diana, and we can show you all of it without surrendering control. Then the paparazzi narrative collided with that message. A report claimed photographers were present but failed to capture the family. That is possible. Laws and publication standards concerning young family members may discourage outlets from buying or printing certain images.
It's bizarre. I mean, I do understand some parents don't want to expose their children on social media, the internet. It's dangerous, of course it is. But obviously, when you have the number of photographs that she's released, it becomes freakish. It becomes like a circus act. You know, lots of parents have pictures of their children's backs of their heads because kids run around, they don't sit still. But these are so heavily contrived and so posed. And I think that's why the children always look so rigid.
Security may also have spotted lenses before any usable photographs were taken, but possibility is not the same as credibility. The public is being asked to imagine a pursuit that produced no picture, a threat that produced no incident, and intense media interest that produced no independent material. Meanwhile, Meghan's phone apparently produced an entire lifestyle package. That arrangement gives the Sussexes every advantage. They receive sympathy for being pursued. They maintain complete ownership of the visuals. They reinforce the idea that photographers still consider them globally important.
Because Meghan obviously believes in privacy for her children. Of course, she won't be sharing any images. It's like, seriously, if you are leaking details of your private holiday to People magazine, you're not just a D-lister, Tash. You're like a reality star. Like, even the Kardashians do not brief People magazine about private family holidays unless they're trying to promote some particular brand.
And they avoid any uncontrolled image that might contradict the atmosphere Meghan wanted to create. It is almost too perfect. The supposed danger remains invisible, while the publicity remains extremely visible. That matters because Harry has spent years arguing that security fears influence whether Meghan and the family can safely return to Britain. He challenged the loss of automatic police protection and repeatedly described the risks surrounding his household. His supporters say those fears are sincere and deeply connected to the trauma of losing his mother.
Do not live a normal existence, right? They live a
Yeah, of course
freakish
not.
existence. They're like prisoners in
Yeah.
a gilded cage with two paranoid parents who, for their own motivation, are sort of using their imagery in an odd way to make points that don't even exist. Because why else would Liam Maguire say, they're just so normal? They're just so normal, Tash. They just go to the beach and play. Like,
Yeah.
this is not
What's
news.
wrong with California?
Yeah, exactly. But this is not news unless you're trying to prove something.
Then Meghan published a European holiday album showing the family moving through beaches, shops, restaurants, private properties, Portugal, and Britain with remarkable quiet. There was no visible swarm, no frightening confrontation, no desperate exit, no public disorder. There was only a series of calm images selected after the trip had ended. Critics say the carousel accidentally demonstrated what Harry rarely wants emphasized. When the Sussexes truly want to travel discreetly, they apparently can. They entered Britain without a public circus. They reportedly attended private family meetings. They traveled between Britain and Portugal. They visited Althorpe. They returned home. And the public learned the most intimate details only when Meghan decided to publish them.
These are not candid moments with the kids having fun. They are staged, and the kids, you can almost hear Meghan be like, no, you can't look at the camera. Mummy needs to take this picture for social media. But for the rest of the parents out there, remember the dangers of your children being on social media.
That does not look like a total collapse of security. It looks like extraordinary message control. So why did the public later need to hear that paparazzi had been nearby? Was somebody trying to restore the danger narrative after the photographs made the trip appear peaceful? Did the team realize that images of beaches, restaurants, and relaxed movement could weaken Harry's argument that family travel creates unacceptable risk? The audience looked at the carousel and saw safety. Then, almost immediately, it was told to imagine hidden photographers outside the frame. They were supposedly there. They were supposedly watching. They simply captured nothing the public could see.
It's obvious that paparazzi weren't there because one magazine, at the very least, would have lapped it up. The French do not care. They're the ones that publish pictures of Catherine sunbathing topless. They would love to have their hands on photographs of Archie and Lili, who Harry and Meghan have actually put a bigger target on their head by playing all of the silly games that they have chosen to do.
That explanation does not resolve the contradiction. It makes the timing look calculated, and it opens a more humiliating possibility. Maybe this story is not only about protection, maybe it is also about relevance. The old celebrity equation is simple. Important people are chased. Cameras prove demand. Paparazzi attention signals that the public cannot look away. Harry condemns that machinery when it represents intrusion. Yet the idea that photographers are still hunting the Sussexes also supports their status as globally significant figures. So what happens when the cameras do not arrive? What happens when nobody waits outside the restaurant? What happens when the beach remains quiet? What happens when Meghan must publish the holiday herself because no outsider captured it?
I do honestly wonder what their mental health is going to be like with Harry, who is so paranoid, so delusional. I mean, we saw it on Netflix with Meghan saying, "We're being followed, Harry." And you saw genuine fear flicker on his face. I don't think that he faked that moment in the car because Harry just cannot act. But then I suppose nor can Meghan really. But he did have that fear.
That possibility is far more damaging than a bad paparazzi photograph. And that status question matters more than ever. The Sussexes no longer occupy the royal position they held when every departure, appearance, or family movement attracted a wall of cameras. Their commercial power now depends on proving that interest remains intense. A paparazzi narrative therefore does two jobs at once. It supports Harry's argument about danger, and it reassures potential partners that the couple still generates international demand. If no photographers were pursuing them, the silence would reveal something the brand cannot easily package. Public curiosity may be becoming selective.
Prince William exploded, and can you blame him? Absolutely not. By releasing pictures of Archie and Lili at Althorpe with flowers about to visit Princess Diana's grave for the first time. This couple who have stooped to disgusting lows in their past, I personally believe hit a new one.
The Sussex brand has long depended on the belief that they remain impossible to ignore. Their supporters follow every move. Their critics analyze every contradiction. Their deals rely on recognition, access, and personal storytelling. But the Portugal chapter unintentionally suggested that the family was not trapped by attention. They were left alone, not surrounded, not cornered, not publicly chased, left alone. And apparently the silence still had to become a media event. The private getaway received a celebrity magazine briefing. A source explained that Portugal offered a special refuge where Archie and Lili could simply enjoy ordinary life.
Archie and Lilibet can simply be kids there. A source telling the magazine why the Sussexes keep returning to Portugal where Archie and Lili are just so happy.
The public was told about quiet beaches, local markets, neighborhood restaurants, and the family's affection for the area. But why announce how private the private holiday was? Why identify the country? Why describe their routine? Why reveal that they returned there? Why include enough restaurant detail for online observers to narrow down the location? Real privacy does not require an exclusive explanation. Normal family life does not become more convincing because a source briefs a major entertainment outlet about it. And then Meghan selected the image that transformed a strange publicity debate into a royal controversy. Harry and the young family members were pictured walking with flowers at Althorpe, the Spencer estate, and Diana's resting place.
In the past, they haven't even admitted that Prince Harry has emailed them directly on some occasions, although my belief is that most of the briefing comes via Liam Maguire, who is their main propagandist now
Source.
based out of London. Yeah,
Sussex
exactly.
source.
The Sussex source, the close friend, until he's sacked when one of these articles go wrong.
Meghan did not explicitly label the precise location in the post, but royal watchers and reports quickly connected the setting to the family's visit. This was no longer harmless summer scenery. This was Diana. No name carries more emotional power in Harry's story. His grief, his fear of photographers, his conflict with the press, and many of his public choices are explained through the loss of his mother. Yet a deeply personal family visit connected to Diana was placed inside Meghan's social media carousel. That decision is what angered critics, not the visit itself. Harry had every right to bring his family to honor his mother. The moment may have been sincere, healing, and deeply important to him. He may have wanted Archie and Lili to understand the grandmother they never met and the history that shaped their father. But sincerity does not explain publication.
Prince William's reaction to that, he also alleges that King Charles is even shocked. Well, I'm not sure how shocked King Charles is, to be honest, given he's made this offer for Prince Harry to stay at Buckingham Palace. I think these days Charles just ignores what Harry is doing because he doesn't want to know the reality of quite how low his son, his youngest, has stooped.
Why did millions need to see the walk? Why did someone photograph the approach to such a private place? Why was the image positioned beside poolside moments, beach scenes, and lifestyle photographs? Why did Diana's memory become the strongest slide in a summer content package? Critics described that choice as tasteless because Meghan did not merely preserve the memory. She converted it into a public asset. Reports have claimed Prince William reacted with fury. Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace have not publicly confirmed his private response, so that must remain an allegation attributed to unnamed sources, not established fact. Still, many royal watchers found the claim believable. William has guarded his mother's memory with enormous care. He has participated in selected tributes and spoken publicly when he believed the moment was appropriate.
The reason that Prince William is so concerned about this, of course, is that it's just the beginning. Do not be deluded to believe that Harry and Meghan do not have a whole year to slowly but surely commercialize the 30th anniversary of the death of Princess Diana.
But he has not constructed an Instagram campaign around his own family visiting Diana's grave. He has not released photographs of George, Charlotte, and Louis carrying flowers through Althorpe for public engagement. The contrast is severe. One brother keeps that connection largely behind closed doors. The other appears in a photograph chosen and uploaded by his wife, and the timing makes every suspicion more explosive. The 30th anniversary of Diana's passing will arrive in 2027. Global media interest will be enormous. Networks will commission specials. Streaming companies will seek documentaries.
For their own personal gain. I mean, there's nothing more ghoulish than this, really, to be honest. I think we all can understand that Diana should just rest. And I just found it so incredibly disrespectful and ugly of Meghan, whose mother-in-law died, most likely seeing camera flashes as the last images of her life, being photographed by her grandchildren, being photographed by her daughter-in-law going to her grave.
Magazines will build tribute editions. Producers will compete for unseen footage, private memories, and a fresh family angle. Access will be valuable. Emotion will be valuable. New images involving Diana's grandchildren will be especially valuable. So when Meghan publicly introduces rare imagery connecting Archie and Lili to Diana's resting place, critics do not see only a tribute. They see a preview, a signal, a proof of access. A message to producers that the Sussexes possess material nobody else can offer. There is no confirmed Harry and Meghan documentary about Diana. There is no proof that professional filming occurred at Althorp.
King Charles needs to know what Harry and Meghan are about. I think he probably does, and he's accepted it. He understands that he can't change them. He also understands that he needs them to make their own money because he can't afford to open his wallet.
There is no verified evidence that a crew entered the estate, recorded the visit, or prepared footage for commercial release. Those limits matter, but speculation did not appear from nowhere. Modern documentary material does not require a visible production convoy. A phone can capture a walk, a conversation, flowers being placed, or Harry reflecting afterward. Combine a few personal clips with archival footage, narration, and an interview, and a supposedly private visit could become the emotional centerpiece of a major streaming project. Did that happen? Nobody outside the family knows.
Portugal also offers a practical advantage, just a roughly 2.5 to 3 hour flight from the UK. It allows the family to be far closer to Harry's home country than when they're in California. Sources close to the Duke of Sussex have long said he hopes to spend more time in Britain with family, friends, and the charity and organisation continues to support through ongoing security concerns have complicated those plans. Well, again, I just call bullshit on this, Tash.
But Meghan created the question when she published the photograph. Without the post, there would be no trailer theory, no commercial exploitation accusation, no alleged William backlash, and no widespread suspicion that additional footage may exist. The content opened the door to the controversy, and Harry should understand the irony better than anybody. He has repeatedly described cameras as symbols of the danger surrounding Diana. He has spoken about media intrusion as a force that damaged security, trust, and family life. He has linked his present fears to the photographers who followed his mother. Yet the image of his own family approaching Diana's resting place was not taken by a stranger hiding outside the estate. The camera was within the family circle. The photograph was not stolen. It was selected. It was not published against their wishes.
20 years on, two brothers who had come through the trauma were able to talk about it, were able to share their feelings and close the chapter. And so, of course, 10 years on, the fact that Harry is now back here commercializing his mother's death is going to upset William. But Brittany, I don't think it surprises him. I think he knew this was coming, don't you?
It appeared through Meghan's account. So who transformed the private moment into global media material? Not a paparazzo. Meghan did. That is where Portugal and Althorp become one story. In Portugal, the public was told that outside photographers wanted images but were successfully avoided. At Althorp, no outside photographer was necessary because Meghan supplied the image herself. The Sussexes object to exposure they cannot direct, while repeatedly benefiting from exposure they control. That is not a demand for total privacy. It is a demand for final editorial authority. Control allows Meghan to choose flattering images.
And let me be clear, that is not me suggesting that there were big fat camera crews there because Meghan and Harry are far too smart for that, far too crafty to be accused of that. But the footage is all here. It's all you need.
Control allows her to conceal faces while preserving maximum emotional value. Control allows the family to appear endangered when that strengthens Harry's security case. Control allows them to appear carefree when that supports lifestyle branding. Control allows Diana to remain sacred in discussions of trauma and commercially powerful when her connection generates global headlines. Every presentation serves a different requirement, yet all of them serve the Sussex narrative. The most revealing choice may be the image Meghan withheld. Reports claimed the family also met privately with King Charles and Queen Camilla during the trip. No photograph from that alleged reunion appeared.
They just can't help themselves. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have now decided to brief to People magazine that their life in Portugal is just so blissful. No idea why we needed to know that. No one was asking. No one was trying to find them.
Before we continue, one quick thing. One thing I've realized is that most families don't have their important information organized in one place. That's exactly why I recommend the Family Vault, a simple, printable, and fillable organizer where you can keep everything from important documents and insurance to medical information, passwords. You'll find the link in the description, or you can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Now let's get back to today's story. There was no palace snapshot, no public grandfather moment, and no intimate royal image included in the carousel. At least publicly, that boundary remained intact. But the Althorpe photograph was released. Why protect one family encounter while offering the other to millions? Was the palace meeting considered too sensitive? Did Meghan lack permission? Was the Diana connection simply more useful? There is no confirmed answer. Yet every content creator understands that selection communicates intention. Choosing one image while withholding another tells the audience which moment carries the greatest value. Meghan surely knew what would dominate the coverage.
As much as they may have made good on the promise not to share any pictures from Highgrove, I still believe that the king is taking a massive risk, because just because they haven't shared those pictures in this batch, it doesn't mean that it won't come in the future.
Not the restaurant, not the swimming pool, not the beach. Diana. Supporters would call the image touching. Critics would call it exploitation. Either reaction guaranteed attention. And attention arrived. That is why the perfect summer carousel backfired. It was intended to display family happiness, but it revived the privacy debate. It was intended to display freedom, but it weakened the image of constant danger. It was intended to feel natural, but critics saw choreography. It was intended to honor Diana, but it produced suspicion about future profit. It was intended to make Meghan appear warm and protective. Instead, many viewers saw strategy.
Yes, it's gross and grim, but this couple are increasingly desperate and they need money. And where is the money going to come from? We know it's from a likely Netflix documentary. I believe it will end up on Netflix, being filmed at the Althorpe estate.
Now Harry is trapped inside another contradiction created by his own household. Does he want the public to believe his family cannot travel safely? Or does he want Meghan's followers to admire a carefree European escape? Does he want Diana protected from commercialization? Or does he want exclusive access to her legacy to remain the Sussex brand's strongest emotional advantage? Does he want his family away from cameras? Or only away from cameras Meghan cannot control? He cannot demand every version simultaneously. The sequence is too obvious. First came the quiet trip, then Meghan's photo release, then the entertainment magazine explanation, then the report that paparazzi had supposedly been present, then the claim that William was furious over the Diana image, then the growing theory that the Sussexes could be positioning material for the 2027 anniversary. One social media post triggered the entire chain.
When it comes to Harry and Meghan, the only thing that has ever made them money is the royal family. That is it. They have not been able to achieve success individually on their own with their own endeavors without something related to the royal family.
Meghan may have believed she was taking control of the narrative. Instead, she showed critics how the narrative is manufactured. No hostile photographer was required. No mysterious palace leak was required. No outside enemy was required. Meghan provided the locations, the family imagery, the royal connection, the emotional framing, and Diana. Then the Sussex camp reportedly expected the public to interpret the result as privacy. But privacy is not a polished carousel delivered to millions. Privacy is not an exclusive briefing explaining the peaceful escape. Privacy is not a sacred family visit, transformed into the most marketable image of the summer. That is production. And the final question remains devastating. If paparazzi truly pursued this family across Europe, why did Meghan's own camera produce the only photographs that mattered? Tell us what you think. Were these simply affectionate family memories shared with reasonable boundaries? Or did Meghan's carefully assembled holiday album reveal a larger publicity strategy? And if new Althorpe footage or a Diana project appears before the 30th anniversary in 2027, will anyone still believe this was only a private family tribute?